Maxwell Golf Course is no longer up for sale, but it's still closed. And that's leaving local golf teams like Cooper High without one of their practice spots. Well, here we are. We're only a couple of days away from the best time of the year, football season, and the ACU Wildcats will travel to Tulsa to kick off their week 1 of the regular season. And as you might guess, week 1 will bring a lot of emotions, excitement, nerves, anticipation. One of the big country's top football prospects just made one of the biggest decisions in his career on Wednesday night. Gordon Striker Reed just committed to not only playing 1, but 2 sports at the Division I level. Practices and games will be held here at Baird ISD and right here at this Little League field in Bell Park, are spending one final week in their jerseys. And this time, it's more than just about a game. I read somewhere that the summer months are Texas Rangers pitcher Nathan Eovaldi's favorite time for baseball. And who wouldn't agree? It's a time for teams to lock in right before the postseason, and Eovaldi showed us just that on Wednesday night. And as you know, Tyler, I was there in Wall last week, and I got to see that firsthand, and I can really see the theme of high risk means high reward this year for them. I've got some pretty good news for everybody. It's already July, which means that football season is this close. I don't even know how that's possible, but I'll tell you one thing, I am so excited. But head football coach Jesse Burleson doesn't like to use the term bye week. To him, they're opportunity weeks, and I'll tell you why he calls them that in a second. Well, here we go again. The Rams are charging into the Super Regionals like they own the place, because lately they kind of do. But they are more excited than they are nervous because they've seen Texas Lutheran not too long ago. And their game plan? Make them earn it. It was a slow start to this series for the Abilene Flying Bison this week, but I'll tell you one thing. Once they got their bats going, they never looked back. Let's talk some Dallas rivalries. The Cowboys have the 49ers, the Mavericks have the Lakers, and now the Stars have a lingering nemesis of their own. For nearly 3 decades, the Dallas Stars have built rivalries, but none sting quite like Edmonton. So when you have those players you can not only rely on to score that game-winning touchdown, but to defend the end zone when they need it most, that is definitely why Jim Ned is very dangerous this year, and they play really well complementary football. As he passed up Hall of Famer and former Astro Jeff Bagwell in the franchise's all-time hit list. But that's not even the best part. Get this, Bagwell was actually in the stands watching him when it all happened. And to be fair, he is only a sophomore, so last year he stepped into that role of being a starting quarterback at 14, 15 years old.
With a new head coach as well.
Right, so that's a lot on his shoulders, so I think that he's definitely settled in more this year. Let's start with a March Madness update, as the Texas Tech versus Arkansas game on Thursday was, in fact, madness in the final minutes, to say the least. Well, here we go again. Let's talk about what I think is the best series in baseball. It's a rivalry that started all the way back in 2001 when the Astros and Rangers played each other for the very first time in the regular season. But good news for Holly, they finally have starting quarterback Aiden Romo back at the helm after missing the first part of the season to an injury, only to take on one of the best teams in the state. The Wallhawks are undefeated, number 2 in Texas, and they're coming off of 3 straight wins on the road. This year, they have 14 returning starters, which should help as they have a new sheriff in town with new head coach Brian Hodnett. But Gordon is playing on a completely different level. They have the longest active winning streak in the state of Texas at 40, and they have yet to play a second half of football all season long, and they're hungry and hoping to take a bite out of the top seed in the standings. The Jim Ned Indians are rolling into the first round of the playoffs, riding a 7-game win streak. And they've only lost 1 game all year, and to be fair, it was to the Wallhawks, who are a state title favorite. However, on the other side of the field, the Boyd Yellow Jackets are hoping for a different story tonight. They've given up about 30 points in each of their games this season, which is good news for the explosive Indian offense. The Holly Bearcats were supposed to play on their home turf tonight, but because of the weather and the rain, they're here in Wiley to take on the Cisco Lobos. Both squads nearly blew out their opponents last week by 50+ points, which means that it could be an offensive showdown, but we can't forget about the defenses. However, on the other side of the field, we have an underdog story for you with the Breckenridge Buckaroos, who are still chasing their first win of the season. Only one team will walk away with a perfect record, but who will it be? Sweetwater trying to answer, Caden Ortiz going deep, but Jagger Thompson says, "I'll take that." Landon York drops back, and he's got plenty of time. He fires a dart to Levi King, who slides into the end zone. And Gwynn, he airs it out to Breck Lawson. What a grab! Menard needs an answer. Braden Ramon delivers, takes the handoff, carries the defender like a backpack and shakes him off. But buckle up, it's kickoff time. Rye Reed, he'll grab it, and he's hitting the accelerator. The 30, the 20, the 10. He's taking this thing to the house. Hunter Teichelman drops back and lets it fly deep, but look out, it's a one-handed interception by Alex Cadena. What a grab. He snatches it right out of the air and runs it all the way back into Tiger territory. Back in the red zone for Wall, but this time York is taken down by Talon Lujan. Now the Wildcats trying to claw right back. Caleb Brown drops back and finds Brett Rich, and he jumps over one defender, bulldozes the next, and knocks him to the ground, and takes it all the way inside the 15-yard line. He makes a move, cuts to the right, and stiff arms a defender, and he takes it all the way to the house. Alexander Lozano, he's looking for some room on the return, but the football is knocked out, and it's recovered by the Lobos. I'm Tori Garcia. ACU's men's tennis coach, Juan Nunez, is from Torreon, Mexico. But if you ask him where he's from, he'll say Abilene because of the impact this city, this university, and these tennis courts have had on his life.
Good, stick with it. Good,
For
good,
Juan
good.
Nunez, tennis didn't start with lessons or a formal coach. It began on the sidelines, watching his dad compete in local tournaments in Mexico.
If you lose, it's your fault. If you win, it's your fault. So it was kind of, pretty, I guess, selfish to an extent. But I like that pressure, that responsibility of it's kind of on you. There's nobody else to blame.
By 15, he left home to train at a tennis academy in Barcelona, Spain, that prepared him for the next chapter, college tennis in the United States.
To see it as an option, right? Of, man, you can go to the U.S. and continue to play at a really high level while getting a world-class education was amazing. And when he visited ACU, it wasn't the facilities that stood out. It was the way Abilene made his family feel. Man, I'm interested in why are people so happy here? Why are people so calm here? Why are people so at such peace? And you can just feel it, and I could feel it from my coaches to my teammates, just how they live life differently than a lot of people, and that was intriguing to me. Nunez said his first year on the ACU tennis team in 2005 was tough, coming to a whole new place, a smaller city, and a different culture. But there was just something about Abilene that made him want to stay. The way they really welcome you and embrace you and take you for who you are, wherever you are in your walk of life and your faith, it was really different. Like I said, almost scary at times, but you can't help but notice that it's a good different. Make sure the racket goes first so then it leads. Nunez has been ACU's men's tennis coach for about 5 years now and says he wouldn't want to be anywhere else. My wife makes fun of me. She was born here and loves Abilene too, but she really can't. But she's like, man, you can offer one any place in the world or Abilene, and he chooses Abilene. And yeah, it has a lot to do. Obviously, it has nothing to do with the views or how pretty or not it is, but it's how Abilene makes me feel and how Abilene has made me feel since I arrived here that I'm kind of this is it. This is home for me now.
ACU's men's tennis team just won their second WAC championship in 4 years under Coach Nunez. And on Friday, they'll compete against TCU in the first round of the NCAA tournament. I'm Tori Garcia. Maxwell Golf Course is no longer up for sale, but it's still closed. And that's leaving local golf teams like Cooper High without one of their practice spots.
Maxwell was around when I was a kid, and that's pretty much where I started to play golf. So it was a great place. I can say that for the kids, the community.
For years, Maxwell Golf Course has been home turf for high school golf teams in Abilene, a place where players from Cooper, Abilene High, and Wiley would practice, sharing time on the course, the range, and on the putting greens.
We go up just a little higher, and then if we want, we go full, we go here.
But after the course's lease expired at the end of September, and without a new buyer in sight, Maxwell closed its doors, and there's no telling when it will open again. And when Cooper's boys golf coach, Mitch Aston, found out the news, he thought,
it's going to be tough for us, for the schools in town and even the surrounding areas to get better. We have to find a way to have practice to get our kids to be able to take full swings. That was a little thin. That was thin.
Aston says Cooper's golf team now splits their time practicing on their simulator, short-range fields on campus, and other local courses like Live Oak and Abilene Country Club. But he admits that Maxwell was always the best option.
We could go there any day except for Fridays. We had full access Monday through Thursday, anytime we wanted to go hit there. It is also for the summertime for kids that aren't members of the country club or members of Shady or members of Live Oak or just doesn't have the funds to pay for the rounds of golf from there. It was cheaper to go to Maxwell, and the kids would have better access at their turn there.
During the Abilene City Council meeting last week, the city said it will start actively looking for management companies to make sure that all golfers will have somewhere to go.
The kids miss just going out there and be able to hit range balls all day if they wanted to.
The city says they'll continue to mow and water the greens to avoid long-term impacts.